Mr. Mayor, thank you for your time. First of all, I have to ask how you are doing, of course.
For this question, I can tell, stay healthy, no injuries, is good. I don't want to complain, because right now it's a critical situation, life criticals. We know a lot of our citizens, soldiers, pay biggest price for our independence, his lives. And if someone come to me and complain about difficult situation, I tell to them, please, if you're visiting hospitals where you see a lot of young people, no legs, no arms, and we don't have to complain. And right now it's a difficult situation economically in our country. Economy is destroyed, logistics destroyed. It's a difficult time, but it's very important to fight for our values, our vision, for our country, for our independence, for our families, and it's very important. No fight, no win. We're fighting for European future of our country, democratic future of our homeland.
A lot of people in my country are amazed by the motivation and the morale of Ukraine and Ukrainian people. Is it something you can describe, or do you have to feel that? Is it just the emotion of being Ukrainian?
Listen, it's not a war. It's not a special operation, what told Russians. They destroyed cities, destroyed villages, destroyed the normal life of whole country, millions of people, destroyed critical infrastructure of our country. It's terrorism to send the drones, rockets, destroyed our power plants. They want to let us freezing in this winter to live without heating, electricity, and that's why I have simple explanation. Putin needs Ukraine as territory without us, without Ukrainians. And that's why we doesn't have another choice. We have, I have a lot of examples, thousands of examples. I talked to the people. They told, better we live without electricity and water than with Russian soldier. And instead to have depression feeling, people is angry and ready to defend, ready to fight.
We're in your office, a lot of examples that are striking. I heard about this story, the coins, but maybe you can explain what's so special about this jar.
Just a couple of months ago, we received humanitarian help from Riga, our sister city. And we received the buses, and the mayor of Riga sent the buses with humanitarian help and tell to people, we don't want to leave empty buses, please bring the warm stuff, clothes, humanitarian help. And small boy, around 5, maybe 6 years old, come and bring this glass full with small coins and told, it's whole money of my life. I want to give the children to Kyiv. I give a task to find the boy, and after the time when I give the money, my money for donation, and this money is symbolic example how people support Ukraine, and very emotional story the boy told. I collected lifelong whole money. All money is my life, and give whole money to support, to help our citizens.
So the first euros for Ukraine, because you're also fighting for be part of the European Union, and here it is.
Yep. It's one of the examples of the unity around our country.
Mr. Klitschko, you were already mentioning winter. Before the winter started, President Zelensky was saying maybe the 100 most difficult days for Ukraine and Europe will start winter is over, almost over. How is Kyiv doing?
In this winter, we have a lot of challenges. We have huge deficit of energy because Russian rockets, missiles destroyed our infrastructure, our power plants. We have deficit of energy. We, first time in our history, stopped trains, subway, trolleybuses, electric transport, public transportation in our hometown. We switch off some districts in our hometown. It was a difficult time because we're responsible for heating, electricity, water, for services what we give to our citizens. And couple of days was really critical. Thanks God, it was not too cold outside because sometime in our winter pretty cold, minus 20 Celsius, minus 30 sometimes. But this winter was warm, pretty warm, and we still unbroken. We still fighting to survive. And actually, right now winter is done. It's spring coming. Every day the temperature coming up, much warmer, and the day will be much longer. And we're looking optimistic in the future.
You want to look outside, but unfortunately you have to close the windows. But it would be cool to see from your office Kyiv in spring.
Spring is something new, something change, very positive, and we're thinking positive. And everyone in our country expect this senseless war will be stopped in this year. Actually, this war can stop one person who's starting this war. He sit in Putin. His name in the Kremlin. His name know everyone, and but they doesn't want to do that. They want to occupy whole Ukraine. Have crazy idea to rebuild Soviet Empire. We listen to voices about Poland, about Baltic countries, and he don't pay attention to lives of millions of people. For him, the idea to build empire much important than lives of millions of people. Unhealthy vision, unhealthy wish.
You were mentioning the man in the Kremlin. Do you still think he wants Kyiv? He wants your city?
Yes, of course. Kyiv have special status. It's capital for Ukraine. It's the heart of the country, and that's why in the beginning of the war, the Russian forces was very close, stay in the border of our city, and they not expect how tough our soldier will be defend our country. Simple explanation. It's every battle is very important. The will to win, the spirit is our soldier actually surprise whole world because world experts give to us a couple of days or a couple of weeks. We fighting against the strongest army in the world more than 1 year. Successfully defend our homeland. It's simple explanation because we're very good motivated. It's our homes, it's our families, it's our children, it's our future. We're fighting for that.
How close was it? Because I saw the documentary Rik from Dmitry Komarov, I think. And I think it was Mr. Budanov who was saying, after a few hours, we were in control. We know what to do at Hostomel airport, oil on the landing tracks. What was your impression? Was it under control after one day, or was it really close? To be honest, we know about invasion. The Russians want to make invasion, but everyone hope it's not happens. And to be honest, we was not good prepared for that. It was shocked for everyone. The Russians coming so close. It's actually 10 kilometers from here. Airline, 10 kilometers. It's Gostomel is satellite city of capital of Ukraine, and that's why it's first months of the war.
it was critical situation because we expect and prepare already for the streets fight in our hometown.
But if I look at the documentary, Riek, I got the impression that it was under control, that the government was prepared for the attack on Kyiv.
If government was prepared, how they come so quick to board of our hometown? My personal opinion is we was not good prepared for that. We not expect the Russians go straight to capital and starting real war. The biggest war after the Second World War in the middle of Europe. We know that, but we doesn't have so much capacity to defend against the strongest army in the world. And but I tell is equipment is very important. It's very important, but it's much more important will to win.
Do you think the Russians will try one more time to conquer Kyiv?
Definitely, Kyiv was target and still target, and they want so much to occupy the whole country. And yes, of course, the capital of Ukraine, our hometown, Kyiv. But they want, but I doubt they can't.
Can you tell us something about the economy of your city right now? How's the economy doing? Is it getting better again? What's your impression?
Right now, thank you for support of our friends, for European country, for United States. We receive much more anti-rocket missiles, anti-drone systems which defend our sky. First point, and second, the new equipment is military equipment is very important for our country. Economy destroyed in this war, and logistics is destroyed. The Black Sea doesn't work so well. Netherlands know how important the port of Amsterdam and Rotterdam. It's but right now it's very difficult. But we do it everything what depends from us to bring the services and to let business work, because business is it's place for work, it's salaries for people, it's taxes also. And here in Kyiv right now it's much better. Life is much more secure and much more safety of our citizens, and we have peaceful feeling in our home city. Everything work. The city is almost full. Cafe, restaurants is work, and some illusion is very peaceful atmosphere. But we don't have forget about huge battles right now, just couple of hundred kilometers of east of south of Ukraine. Real battle against the Russians.
If the city is almost full again, how many people do you think are in Kyiv right now?
I don't think I know exactly. 3.6 million people right now in our hometown. Before the war, the population was 3.8, but today from 3.6 citizens in our hometown, almost 300,000 refugees from east and south of Ukraine. A lot of people receive second home in our hometown. We give help to them, support them. It's very important to help each other. It's unity of our country, to help each other, to be strong, to be united.
You still have a lot of people from Ukraine living abroad, also in the Netherlands. Over 100,000 Ukrainians are in the Netherlands. When it comes to your city, would you say to them, you can come back, it's safe in Kyiv, help the Ukrainian economy, please come back with your kids, let them go to school here? Or is that really an individual decision to make?
We're talking honest. Right now, safety is the main priority for everyone in our hometown, in our home country. And we can't give the guarantee of safety. Because any minute, in any second, the Russian missiles can attack every buildings in our hometown, in our country. But right now, the safety much better than before, but still the risk. It's personal decision for everyone. We open right now the schools and preschools with issues if school have bunkers for the people for critical situation, for safety is very important. About advice to the people who actually temporarily lives in Europe, it's our main goal to bring the people back. It's our main values, the people, our citizens. And the first priority is safety. We have to give safety to everyone. The second, we have to bring the jobs and give the services to everyone. We do it everything what depends from us to give the services. It's actually we have right now the water, electricity, heating, medicine, education, is everything work in our hometown. And I tell that if someone come to our hometown, they have illusion about peaceful atmosphere. It doesn't have a feeling it's the war. But sometimes you listen alarm, the rockets attack, drones attack, alarm. It means everyone have to be immediately go to the bunkers. By the way, it's a really interesting information numbers. We listened alarm in last year almost 700 times. If you put all time together, every citizens of our hometown spent in underground more than 1 month. It's 1 month of the lives in the ground. By the way, right now is better, safety, and we're still fighting for our hometown, for services, fighting for independence is also huge battle every day.
But Mr. Klitschko, I'm here in Kyiv for 10 days now. There were some air raids sometimes, but almost no one goes to the shelter anymore because they check on Telegram canal and they see that there's a MiG-31 with some kinjal and it's alarm for the whole country. And I can understand because people also want to sleep, people want to work, people want to live their lives. I understand it's your policy to say people go to the bomb shelter, but my impression is that people kind of accept the alarms because they want to live their lives.
It's personal decision for everyone. I want to remind, in our hometown, it's destroyed almost 800 buildings, 417 apartments buildings, killed more than 160 civilians, 5 children, from missile attack, from artillery, from drones. And that's why I tell to everyone, please pay attention. But the safety and its personal responsibility for everyone. If they doesn't take decision to go to the shelters, it's their decision.
First, Mr. Klitschko, you're the mayor of Kyiv, but you're also some kind of super diplomat because everyone knows you, especially in Germany. Are you okay with that role that you are helping your country while talking to politicians in Germany, for instance, or celebrities? Are you okay with that?
I'm sorry, I don't understand exactly your question. Can you repeat, please?
Yes, well, because you're the mayor of Kyiv, but now you're also talking to Olaf Scholz, which is not something the mayor of Kyiv normally does. But is that because you're helping your country and you're calling Scholz and saying, Mr. Bundeskanzler, please send the Leopards? Is that part of your job now?
I do it everything what I can to support my homeland. Everything. I'm not responsible for weapons delivering, but we do it that. I'm not responsible as diplomat to talking to business people, to politicians around the world. I use my personal contact, personal relationship to every people in the world. I use my celebrity status to support my country, and that's why I do it everything what I can to bring the attention to Ukraine, to bring the help to Ukraine, to support, to make our countries stronger, because a strong Ukraine is strong Europe. Unity around Ukraine is a key for peace and freedom in the world, and that's why it's very important to be proactive. It's very important to do it everything what we can to stop this senseless war, and that's why, from this reason, I do it a lot of things. What is not my responsibility as mayor, but I am citizens of Ukraine, is this status. And as citizens of Ukraine, I talk to everyone and call everyone. And yes, of course, I use my status, I use my personal connection, I use my communication to help Ukraine.
If you call Olaf Scholz, does Mr. Scholz listen to you? And does he say to you, Mr. Klitschko, you're right, I will send the Leopards to Ukraine?
Every politician make a decision from every politician receive information from different sources and decide by himself, but it's very important. I explain the real situation in our homeland, not someone as expert. I am from I live in during the war. I do it. I can explain to our partners what actually happens in Ukraine, what actually we need, immediately need, and that's why I talk to them. And they decide by himself. I can make a pressure, but I give the honest, true information, because information today is much more important than weapons. True, objective information. Because Russians use a lot of fake news, propaganda, and some people actually disappoint. Some people have influence from propaganda. It's very important from someone who come from Ukraine, who talk about Ukraine, who talk about the problems, who talk about exactly help what we need. It's very important.
Also, people in Germany, unfortunately, are, how to put it, sensitive for Russian propaganda.
Russian propaganda have influence. They the brainwashing works so well, and I come from Soviet Union. I'm born in Soviet Union, and I know how work propaganda in Soviet Union. But right now, it's Russians zombed. They have so much influence, and they believe he living in extremist. The government in Ukraine is fascist, radicals. They are not allowed to talk in Russians. They hated Russians. I'm the best example. It's propaganda, because in my body, half of my blood is Russian blood. My mom is Russian. I talk Russian language, and it's today. It's not a question of nationality in Ukraine. It's not a question of languages. It's a question. It's not a question of religion. Today is a question of values. You love Ukraine. You want to live in democracy. You're fighting for Ukraine. You have millions of examples when it's Russian. As nationality Russians fighting for Ukraine, and a lot of Ukrainian parties speak Russians, but Russian propaganda try to explain they defend the Russians in Ukraine because Russians live under the pressure. It's propaganda. It's sometimes I have a lot of friends in Germany. Sometimes I meet, we call them Putin versteher. the people who live under the pressure from Russian propaganda, and that's why objective and true information, main, critical, important to give to the people real information about this. It's not the war, it's terrorism, it's genocide. And that's why I use, and my brother Vladimir, we using all our capacity, everything what we can, to bring the information from heart of the Kyiv.
Final question.
Yeah.
You and your brother were also stating this message to Thomas Bach from IOC, president. You were criticizing him for giving Russians the chance under neutral flag to participate in the Olympics, next Olympics. Did Mr. Bach already call you or your brother? Did he already respond to you criticizing him?
I guess it's Mr. Bach have a lot of too good relationship with Russian, and he live with Russian influence. He have it's actually. I remember a very famous word of Nelson Mandela: "Sport have a power to change the world." By the way, 1,000 years ago in Greek, if during the war, the war stopped in Olympic Games starting, and the sport movement have amazing power, and that's why the whole sportsmen in the world have to say stop this war. And by the way, it's more than 140 Ukrainian sportsmen killed already in Ukraine, and you can't be neutral in this case. You for the dictator, or you for democracy? You for the war, or you for the peace? And that's why sport movement have amazing power, and we expect the whole world have to call the Russian sportsmen. Also, tell to Putin, tell to Russian population, as you sport hero, you have to tell to everyone, stop this senseless war. We need peace. Stop kill the people, unguilty people, civilians. The millions of people, refugees, is tragedy, is big tragedy for our homeland, is big tragedy for Europe, and Russians not understand this big tragedy also in Russia. I'm more than sure the Russian population very soon tell to Putin for which reason left world brands from Russia, for which reason the Iron Curtain coming back, for which reason the Russian population Russians not anymore welcome in the world. And main question definitely Putin receive. For which reason died my son, my husband, my brother, my relatives, and no explanation to explain to some empire ambition. This doesn't work, and that's why sport have a amazing power, and we do it everything to stop this war. And Thomas Bach have to decide for the war or against the war, for the peace or against, and sport have to be united for peace, and Russian sportsmen, if they not say to Putin stop the war, they not allowed to participate in Olympic Games.
And I understood, and then I'm really done, that you had a meeting with Anne Hidalgo, the mayor of Paris. If Thomas Bach is not listening and Russians can still participate, you are working on a plan to make sure that Russians don't get visa to go to Europe at all, so they cannot participate.
I doesn't have influence of that. It's decision of French government, of local government, and it's a decision of Olympic Committee. We can give our vision, our advice, but they decide by himself.
Thank you very much for your time. Дуже дякую вам, and good luck.
You're welcome.